back to my channel. Today I wanted to show you some different ways that you can use your jelly prints. If you have a lot of jelly prints that you make, or if you have a lot of backgrounds that you make, they don't necessarily have to be jelly prints. Sometimes it's nice to dress them up a little bit or alter them. So this first technique is the stamp set here. I got this stamp set. It's a bunch of different florals, and I'm testing them out to see how well they work. I really love the designs on these. They kind of had all the little embellishment type designs kind of all ready to go for you, which it almost looks like it has little washi with the little stripes there, and it's got words, it's got flowers, it even has like a little grid paper on it. I just thought these were really beautiful and would really help to dress up some of these prints that I'm making. I will link the one that I found on Amazon below in case you're interested in this stamp set. For this first part, I'm using Lucky Clover Oxide ink, just figuring out where I wanted it to go. I did also use a little bit of weathered wood as a neutral gray color. It's kind of a bluish gray at the bottom, and you can kind of see it here. This is my Lucky Clover print that I had done in March, and so I thought this was a really fun way to use my Lucky Clover ink. Now I'm adding just a little bit more of that weathered wood, and then kind of dabbing in some of the Lucky Clover for this little fern leaf print or stamp. I'm putting one in the corner here, and then gotta even it out, so we'll go ahead and add one to the other corner. It's coming along. I like what I'm seeing, but it's very light. It was not standing out too much. Some of it was actually getting a little bit lost in the sort of busy background. So I used my VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and I used a different stamp for this one, and I wanted to add a little more of this first stamp that I had used with the black ink on it up at the top, because again, that one was getting really lost with the green color. This really does stand out so nicely. I love the little dots on the top of this, the little grid in the corner. They're so cool. And the little words are really cute too. This one says charming, but some of the other ones, they have some really cute sayings. I used this other piece that has some little numbers on the side of it, and looks like a little postage stamp with a flower. So this one's really cool too. These layer really nicely on top of each other, and they just really work well together. I love it. I hope you enjoyed seeing the stamping on this one. Now we're moving on to our next technique. This is using hot foil. So I have this really cool background that I use my alcohol inks on. This one has a little bit of a shimmer on the actual card itself. It's a heavier cardstock. I believe that was a watercolor card that I used for this one. So it holds up really well to hot foil. I had no problem hot foiling with this one. And I'm picking this, it's kind of a lotus type flower that I wanted to use to put my gold foil on. I hadn't used this one yet, and I was really excited to see how this would turn out. There, they turned out really nice, and it looked really cool, almost like a watery color effect with the background after these were heated. And now I wanted to cut them out. This came with the die cuts that matched each of these little flowers and leaves. So the fun part, lining it all up, making sure that I don't ruin it after I've already put my gold on. I'd say that's probably the trickiest part. But they all turned out really nice, and I thought that this was really cool. I used about half of the card on these hot foil pieces, but I did still have part of my card left, so I cut it down. I thought it looked cool by itself, but I have these words, and so I thought it might be nice to make this into like a little birthday card embellishment. So I chose Make a Wish. Got a little bit more of my gold foil. And I'm just gonna gold foil this right in the middle of this piece because I really liked those flowers to maybe be on the outer side of the words. So let's see what that looks like. Very, very nice. This is the card that I made with the flowers and the words. Moving on to technique 3, this is going to be using the texture paste. I wanted to make the different colors, so I added my alcohol inks onto this. It's a mat that I got from Dollar Tree. I didn't want to ruin my Tim Holtz mat. He said in his video that if you put alcohol ink on it, it might stain it. I'm not ready to ruin it yet, so I'm using a little, it's actually a cutting mat from Dollar Tree, a 2-pack, and this works great. Nothing stains on it. It's perfect. It's even heat resistant. I've heat embossed over this and it's been fine. So just using some alcohol inks to color in some of this texture paste, and I'm putting it over this honeycomb shape stencil that I had. Let's see what this looks like. I think it turned out really nice. The greens and the blues mixed well and really go with the background quite nicely. Now moving on to technique 4, embossing glaze through this leaf stencil. I'm using my Versamark ink pad to get some of the leaf shape. I didn't go hardcore because I wanted it to be a little bit blotchy. I'm going for a distressed look here. I'm mixing 3 different colors trying not to put them all on at the same time, and I'm also trying not to completely make a muddy mess, so I'm kind of doing a little parts of it at a time from the 3 different colors that I have. I have the cracked pistachio, the broken china, and then the speckled eggs. I think this one comes in a 3-pack with these exact colors. I don't have any other of these embossing glazes, so I picked this background because it kind of matched the colors that I had, and I really wanted to try this technique. To heat emboss it, it will also show the image in the background of your design, so that's why I wanted to use this. And then to really showcase the embossed part, I wanted to add some color around it and see if that would really pull out the little leaves from the embossing glaze. So I'm adding water to water down these colors a little bit and kind of blend them in between a little bit better, making it nice and wet. So then I used my heat tool to dry it up just a little bit. I didn't want to go too hot on the embossing because I didn't want to reactivate the glaze or make it melt into my paper. So here I'm adding a little bit more water, seeing if I can get some water blotches. I liked how this looked, but I still felt like it needed maybe a little bit something to really pull those embossed leaves out. So I have these distressed crowns, Iron Gate, and Decayed. These are from the Halloween collection last year. This is what the original looked like, and then this is what I'm coming up with now, just so you can see how much it's kind of changed, just adding all these different things to the top of it. I really like it. I think it looks really good. This next technique, technique 5, is to use hand lettering. I put this little postcard image on the bottom of the screen here as my inspiration, so you kind of see what I was going for. Now, I didn't want to copy it exactly, so I looked at it ahead of time, but I didn't look at it while I was drawing. So this is my muscle memory of what I remember seeing on this image. So here I'm using some lines on a ruler to make my letters nice and straight. And then I'm going to start with a pencil. This way I can make sure everything lines up where I want it to. Now I am going to use a calligraphy pen. This is an archival marker, and it has a brush tip. And I'm just tracing over my letters. I'm adding some little details. Again, at this point, drawing this, I am going just off of memory or just adding what I think I like or what I would want to see on my lettering. I remembered the C had some extra embellishments to it, so this was my take on what I remembered. Most postcards have this line down the middle so that you can write the address and then also write a little message to the receiver. But the top of it needed a little something extra. I couldn't, again, remember exactly what was on that image, so I kind of went with my own freehand design here. I used a white calligraphy pen to make my shiny accents. Well, when I was done with it, I felt like it was good, but I needed a little bit something else, so I had this leftover rub-on piece. Actually got this rub-on from Dollar Tree, and I thought this line right here would go great to kind of separate the postcard from the bottom part. And then it had these 4 little design details that I thought would look really good on the corners. So I just decided to add those. They had the nice flourish effect to them that I thought was nice. I was going for a little bit of an antiqued postcard look. This is something that I could use in a journal or a mini album that I might put together. So here are the 5 different ways to alter your jelly prints. We used stamping, texture paste, embossing glaze, hot foil, and hand lettering. Thank you for watching, and I hope you had some inspiration from this. I have a part 2 coming with 5 more ideas of how to alter your jelly prints. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss anything.